How can you hire great, fantastic, amazing employees who will stay with us forever and make us a ton of money? Hi everyone, my name is Elena Ledoux. I'm an entrepreneur who owns several companies. I'm the CEO of Superb Mates. I was able to scale my own businesses to 7 figures and beyond and help many, many others. Subscribe to my channel if you want to grow together and be better. Why is it important to hire amazing, mind-blowing, awesome employees? Because without employees, we are nothing. We cannot make a business, a real business, without employees. In all times, in the times of fantastic economic growth, as well as the times of impending doom and gloom, like we are in now, that question persists always. One day I was actually at the event. It was a networking event or mastermind, and there at my table, it was a big table, there are a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of employers from all kinds of different walks of life, from all different industries, different sizes. When the moderator asked what is the number one question that's vexing literally everyone at the table, as it turns out, there's only one question, which is the question as the subject of this video, which is how do we hire great employees? Everybody had that very same bottleneck or question and concern. I noticed also that there's a lot of rage going on both employer side and employee side. All employers secretly complain about their employees, and all the employees are raging on forums like Reddit, for example, how terrible and awful employers are. I have hired literally hundreds of employees in my life, both as an employee myself and a majority, of course, as an employer, for myself, for other companies. So there are basic guidelines and principles that one must know and follow, and all successful companies follow, that I'm going to share with you today. They may sound simple, but they're very important. If you skip any of them, you will not have a great outcome. So please pay attention, write them down if you must, and definitely subscribe to my channel so you don't miss other awesome videos. Number one thing that you got to remember, and I always remind my coaching clients and my partners and my employees, is you need to make sure that your potential employee has the right values. And for that, of course, you need to understand what are your values. I will probably record at some point a whole different video just on values alone, because they're that important. But briefly, values are something that you personally and your company stand for. For instance, in my company Superb Mates, the values are honest, simple, clean. So for that company, I will be hiring everybody who corresponds with those 3 values. I don't care who you are. You could be an accountant, you could be a cleaner, you could be a manager, administrator, doesn't matter. Regardless of the position, you will have those 3 values very present. If you are not simple, if you're complicated, if you're dramatic, you're not gonna have a good time in our company, because all the other animals are honest, simple, and clean. I love my life. My team is entirely made out of those people who are undramatic, quality-minded, clean, and honest. Number 2 is the avatar. So why avatar is important? What does avatar even mean? Avatar means that if you're hunting for a specific type of candidate, specific type of addition to your team, you need to be very intentional about it. What do I mean by that? It's like, for instance, if I'm hiring somebody for a position as administrator, let's say for one of my construction companies, I need to have in my mind, besides general values, as what we discussed before in the previous step, I need to understand who is that person who'll be perfect for that position. Who do I have in mind? For administrator, I want them to be empathetic, because I always have a good time working with someone who is empathetic in that administrative position. I want them to be detail oriented. I want them to have high amount of energy, right? And at the same time, I want them to be calm and precious. All these qualities, I could probably even say like not even age range, but in general, what that person looks like. Imagine even give them a name. Why it's so important? Because if you just start hiring random people, you might end up with someone that you don't really want, because when you write an ad, the ad will be very generic and will attract all kinds of people because you weren't specific enough. It's like a shotgun approach. There was a study that I like quoting for my coaching clients. Is there was a company in US that was trying to fix diversity problem, and they said, like, why is it that we only have men working for us? We want to attract more women. We don't understand why women just don't apply. When they examined their ad, in the ad, all the wording was he or him and his, he must be this, he must do that. So they actually switched the wording to make it more gender neutral, to occasionally mention her or she, and immediately they saw a boost in female applicants, right, which is what we want diversity. So very, very important. Have your avatar as specific as you can, so then you won't be disappointed with the results of hiring a random person. Well, you advertise for a random person, that's what you got. Number 3 is the offer. Right now, when I'm trying to hire somebody for one of my companies, I need to stop and honestly ask myself, what do I have to offer to that employee, to that candidate? Because what you're asking them to do is to quit another job, because we're looking for awesome employees and usually they're gainfully employed, right? So you're asking them, hey, go ahead and quit your job, bet your entire family's future and your future, economically and otherwise, to join my ship. That's a really big ask, right? If you ask me. Why should they do that? What is it that you got for them that is attractive? And be honest with yourself. You can't bullshit your way, because if you bullshit them and they come join your ship, they will skedaddle the second they realize that you just lied about it. Be a legitimately great employer. Have a legitimately solid offer. Do you have benefits? Do you treat them like a human being? Are you invested in their growth? Do you provide accountabilities? Do you provide the KPIs? Because people do want challenge. They don't just want like peaches and cream, and they don't want to be treated like a royalty, right? That's not what employees want. They want boundaries, they want accountabilities, they want growth, they want support, they want respect. Do you have those or do you not have those, right? Be honest and make sure that all these things make their way into the offer. So you have to be explicit. A lot of times my coaching clients, they make that mistake. A lot of them are amazing employees, very sweet, very nice, but they're very modest and very timid. So when I read the offer that they make to employees or like advertising, it's just very bland and generic. There's no fire and there's no offer. First, be legitimately awesome. Second, sell yourself too. Number 4, have a system. Hiring is exhausting. I probably look like 10 years older than I actually am, because I did hire a lot of people. Why is that? Because when as employer we're looking to add somebody to our team, we're entrepreneurs, we're dreamers. So every time a right one comes along, we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be our next great employee. It's going to solve all my problems. Finally, yes. We go around and tell everybody how happy we are. We're so helpful. And then the employee, lets us down. A lot of times without even starting to work, they just don't show up, or they show up and they're hungover. I once hired a girl who was amazing, just amazing administrator. She job tested really, really well. She was a real fire. But the very next day when she showed up for actual work, she was hungover. She was covered in crumbs and hair. She didn't know where she was. It was amazing. And I don't drink, so I didn't even know what's wrong with her. I just see the person who's sweating and is incoherent. And then my other employee said, you know what, she's hungover. And so I had to fire her on the spot. That is how our entrepreneurial journey is. It's like up and down. You're like high on the hope of having a great employee, and then you come crashing down. So if you don't have some sort of robust systems for hiring, especially systems where you can plug in HR manager or another person who's helping you with hiring, you're emotionally going to be like this. Constantly you're being taken up and then crashed into the ground, taken up, crashed into the ground. How long do you think you're going to last? A lot of times employees, they don't want to hire employers. They're like, I'm done. I'm just done. I want to be by myself. And that's very, very sad. When in reality, all you have to do is have a hiring system with the actual offer, with the actual people, with a process that's documented. So then you don't have to go through that roller coaster of emotions, and you can focus on what's important, which is making money. Number 5, it's a final step, which a lot of people underestimate, and that's why they have a terrible time hiring, is after you hire, if you did a good job and you're super happy, you just yay, and you run off, right? Here you go, employee, you deal with that and you work. But it's a big mistake, because that employee in the beginning is very fragile. They're not sure if they made the right decision. They're not sure if they can do a good job. They're disoriented. They lack enough information. So it's a huge amount of stress for them. There's a big change in everything. So if you don't support them at that time, you don't provide the proper information, onboarding, support, care, everything, it will not take. That person will just fall off, quit, cry, whatever, create all this drama. So onboarding is part of your hiring process, right? Because the job is not done. You didn't actually freaking hire if you lost that person within the first 90 days. Be sure to look at it as, hey, I need to make sure that person stays and grows and is happy and is thriving. and nowhere is as critical and as fragile as in the first like few weeks of that employee's experience with your company. So make sure you set them up for success. So successful hiring is when you have somebody who is permanently plugged into your company. Question of the day for you. What is the worst part of the hiring for you? Please write in the comments. Where do you fail the most and why? Because as we know, we grow from failures. You know, some people go from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm, right? As Churchill said. So please write in the comment below. Where do you think you experienced the biggest failures in hiring? Write all your horror stories, write all your victories. I'll be happy to read. I'll read every single comment and respond myself. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a great hiring spree. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.